Good day guys, I'm Mini War Painter. Today in this video I'm going to show you how gold can be painted to achieve that enchanted appearance that the Thousand Suns deserve. I'll catch you after the intro. Part 4. The Gold. Before we get started, I just want to show you what I've done with the inner side of the cape. As you can see, I've gone with a warm off-white tone which will contrast nicely with the cold blue armour. As well as this, I've used armour blue to help tie in the trim. This was very fiddly. So in this video, I'll be focusing on the gold trim of his armour. I'll begin basing all the trim followed by a recess wash of all the deep recesses. But predominantly I'll focus on his long chest plate at the front of his armour to demonstrate to you guys the mechanics of the process I'd like to share with you today. So with Retributor armour, I'll base all the trim, being sure to get a good strong coverage. If there's something I've learned about these metallic paints, it's that the pigment likes to pull apart, so you need to give a layer plenty of time to dry before you go for another coat. Keep adding layers until you can no longer see the undercoat underneath. That's the base complete. Now I'll move on to shading the recesses of the trim. I'll achieve this by using warp lock bronze, mixed with a little water to help control the paint where I want it to go. It was advice I was given from a member of the heavy metal team during my visit to Warhammer Fest. He said, don't always go for Citadel washes for recess washing. Break the rules. You'll find a better result if you go around the recesses with a diluted choice of paint. It's not a big deal if you go out the lines either. You can always neaten up later with Retributor armour. Now that stage is complete, I'm going to focus my attention on the gold long chestplate at his front to demonstrate to you how I'd like to give my gold details that enchanted appearance. It all starts by mixing a little warp lock bronze with Retributor armour. With this new shade of paint, I'm going to apply it to the lowest surfaces of the armour where light can't reflect. I'll be honest, I have very little experience painting gold, but I do have an understanding that you often get a lot of contrasting reflections at angles that are beyond my current comprehension. So for now, I'm leading with intuition and an observation that gold reflects with a subtle pattern. What I mean by this is if you're painting similar constructed shapes, like the links to this Sorcerer's chestplate, then light is going to reflect at the same corners and sides of each link in the same respective way. So in this example, I'm going to highlight any corners and edges that are perpendicular to the ground and darken any edges that are vertical to the ground, if that makes sense, maintaining a pattern to similar shaped surfaces. With the darker tones complete, it's time to move on mixing a little Stormhost silver to my Retributor armour and building up the highlights. Starting in a reverse manner to the previous step, I'm going to begin applying these lighter tones to the top of the surfaces where light is likely to reflect, and along all the top and bottom edges to the links of his chestplate that are perpendicular to the ground. You can make out on the side of the gold links here the subtle pattern of highlights and shading I've developed putting my ideas of how gold reflects to practice. I'm now moving up to almost pure Stormhost silver for the final highlights of the gold details. I'd like to now introduce to you the secret ingredient to enchanted armour, a glaze of Druchii Violet. Again, this is a glaze, so be sure to dilute it with plenty of water, because we're aiming to tint the surface of the gold, not wash it. With the model finished, I'll share with you now that glazing with Citadel washes does matte down your surfaces. So off camera, I decided to touch up those highlights with some Stormhost Silver and Retributor armour. In the future, I'll attempt this with a layer paint of the same hue as Druchii Violet, diluted adequately enough to be used as a glaze to see if I get a better finish. If you have any thoughts on this guys, please share with me in the comments below. Thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you've anything to add, please don't hesitate to comment down below. If you're on Instagram, you can find me at miniwar_painter. Here you can follow my progression as I like to post regularly on my stories. As I look forward, next video will be about painting the finest white loincloths and ribbons of the Thousand Suns, where I'll teach you about warm whites and cold whites. Don't forget to subscribe and don't be shy to mix those paints. Ta-ra!